Today we are going to make a sweet corn liquor. This will be pretty nice. I'm going to look forward to doing this, and I wanted to thank Dan Lee for the idea. Okay? Welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is the channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. So, what is corn liquor? Well, it's an American liquor made from mostly corn. Some people call it moonshine or a white whiskey. It is a delicious all by itself, or you could flavor it. What am I going to need? Well, I got 13 pounds of frozen corn because I can't get fresh corn at this time of the year. And then I have 4 pounds of a 6-row malt. I'm going to use it to convert the starches over into sugar, so that's going to help with that. And if I need to get my numbers right, I can add a little bit of sugar to it, because I like to get my numbers up somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.085 to 1.090. Okay, so that's my magical spot. Alright, I will be using some high temperature enzyme, and that's about it. So we're going to make that today. This video is going to be about making the mash, and then the next video is I'm going to use my thumper jar, and I'll put a card up here for the when I made my thumper jars. So I'm going to use them for the very first time, and I'm going to flavor this distillate with that. Okay, but you have to come back and check out what I'm going to flavor it with, okay? Okay, so let's get started. I got a blender here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this corn, this frozen corn, into the blender, and then with a little bit of water, and then we'll chop it up, and then we're going to put it in this pot, and we're going to start to cook it a little bit, okay? Alright, let's get that started. Alright, let's get started with our taking care of our corn. So we'll just put the corn in. Add a little bit of water. We're going to blend that up. Need a little bit more water. This is the first batch. We'll add that in. I put the water in this pot. Damn, if I don't make a big mess. But everybody knows I'm good at making a mess. Okay, so let's do the next batch. I won't put so much corn on the next one, a little bit more water to help. It's a nice yellow color, so I'm getting a lot of flavor out. I probably would have been better off to let the corn thaw out. But it doesn't work just fine. Whoa! Told you I was good at making a mess. A little bit. I have to say this is a pain, but you know what? Sometimes when something's a little bit tough to do, it makes it better. All right. Add that to our pot. Okay. Next, we got everything, or got all our corn in our pot. I got some heat underneath the pot. One very important thing. Now what I did is I used my diffuser plate underneath this because I don't want no hot spots. If we burn this corn, game's over. Alright, because you'd never get that taste out. So what we want to do is just heat this up. And I'm going to say to a very low simmer because we did chew it up. Now if you look at it, I don't know if you see that, but it's chewed up. So it should be pretty easy to get the starches out. So what we're going to do is heat this up to a simmer. And what I'll do then is I'll shut the heat off. And I'm going to give it about an hour. And then we should get the starches out of that corn. But while you're heating up, like I said, don't walk away. Just make sure you keep stirring it. So we don't have any scorching going on. Okay, so let me get this done. I'll see you in about an hour. Mellow is fantastic. The best thing I could say is it's like a tray full of corn on the cob. And it just smells so fantastic. I think it's going to be pretty good liquor. Okay, look at that. I did a starch test, and that's one drop. It's pure black. So I think we got a whole bunch of starch here in that corn. Okay, so I gave that an hour. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it, put it in my mash tun, and then I'll double check my temperature, make sure it's 158 but 158 to 160 before I add in the grains. Then I'll double check my temperature. I wanted 143 to 157 is what I want the temperature, so that the enzymes in there can convert them starches. All right, so I'm gonna just dip this out, then I'll pour the rest of it. I mean the blender really did chew that corn up nice, so that everything worked out pretty good. Like I said before, the smell is fantastic. Okay. Let's see what our temperature is. And it is, ooh, it's down to 140. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up some more water and try to get this temperature up just a little bit. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and put my grain in, and then I'll add hot water and get her directly up to the temperature that I want, right around 153. Okay, so okay, now let's double check our temperature. 135, so I'm going to have to boil me some water, and then I'll get this boosted up, okay? Is I added me some hot water, got her up to 147. So I'll go ahead and set my timer for an hour, and we'll come back and check it. Okay. Alright, so we'll see you in an hour. Okay, it's been 1 hour. Let's see what we got here. Looks like some liquid. We'll take a little sample. Okay, we're going to do a starch test. Let me bring you over here so you can see, or I'll bring it over to you. There you go. Put a drop of iodine in there, or a couple. And see how it just kind of basically goes back to the original color. Alright, that means that the conversion has taken place. Okay, particles and all that in there. I decided I was going to use my sieve again. Okay, so I got a bottling bucket. It has a spigot on the end of it. I got my bucket here with all the holes in it and the bolts to hold it up. We're going to put that inside the bottling bucket, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our mesh bag. It's one of those bags you roll the bag when you're doing beer. So I'm going to put that in here. Okay, and what I'll do is just put the mash over in there, and it's going to drain out, and it's going to drain into my fermentation bucket. And let me put a couple in there. I'll move you over so you can see. So I'm just going to dip. Let me move this over a little closer. Oh, it's nice and runny. Oh man. So we'll just dip this over, and this is going to strain out all the corn particles and the grain particles and all that, and we'll have a pretty nice clean mash. To be honest with you, I think I could have used a false bottom. I was thinking it was going to be a lot more junk in this. Let's see what our starting gravity is. The original gravity. It is looking like, okay, let me get a little closer to the light, 1.025. Alright, and I thought it was going to be a little low, so remember I told you I was going to have to put some sugar in it. I'll put some sugar in it and then we'll check it again. I put 6 pounds of sugar in there and it brought me up to 1.075, just a hair less than that. 1.075, so I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to check my temperature, and then I got a feeling it's going to be a little bit too warm, but once it gets below 90, I'll put my yeast in, and it's going to be a week to 10 days. Now the fun part, cleaning up time. Alright, just a little fast recap of what we did was we took 13 pounds of fresh frozen corn. And what we did is we put it in a food processor, blender, whatever you want to call it. We ground it up with some water, added it into our pot. Once we got it all added in, we brought the pot up to a very little simmer, then shut the heat off. And then we just let it sit there for an hour. Okay, we did a starch test. We had plenty of starch. Okay, so then what we did is we put that into the mash tun. And we added 4 pounds of 6-row barley to do the converting from the starch over into sugars. Okay, So we had that in the mash tun, we let that stay in there for an hour. After an hour we come back, we did another starch test, and there was no black when we put the iodine in. So that means that the conversion did take place. So then what we did then is we used the sieve that we've used it a few times now, and it works great. And we drained all the liquid off of that grain into our fermentation bucket. Okay, so then we first checked our starting gravity, and it was 1.025. So I added 6 pounds of sugar, and that brought it up to 1.75, I do believe. So the temperature's just a little bit too hot, so I'll come back later on today or this evening, and we'll add yeast. And then what we're going to do is let it firm out 7 to 10 days. You should be done. What next? Okay, so now what we're going to do after that, after the fermentation is going to be complete, we're going to use our very first time of using our thumper jar setup. I've been looking forward to this. It just kept getting put off onto the back burner. I'm going to do some flavoring with this. I'll let you know what that is next week, okay, on the next video. Or when we do the video on the thumper jars. And I hope it's interesting. I hope it tastes good and all that, but we'll find out. I guess that's about it. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Stillworks and Brewing. Cheers, everybody.